More phone calls coming up. Best and worst of the weekend. What you saw that you liked, you didn't like. Let me start there with Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer. Best and worst of the weekend, Reg. What was the best thing you saw? What was the worst thing you saw?
It's been interesting because I wanted to see how the celebrations would be in the conference finals. Being in an environment like that, usually we're used to when a team clinches, usually it's on their home floor in front of their home fans going crazy, players crying, all that stuff. But I got to give credit to the NBA. They had the confetti shooters out. They tried to make it as real as possible. Little thing I was surprised about, they didn't allow the family members on the court with the players. They're still being pretty stickler, even though they're in the bubble with them. They're still keeping them somewhat separated. So for what they had to work with, that was probably the best thing I saw, is because I wanted to see how those celebrations would be. The worst thing for me, my Angels are not going to be part of the baseball playoffs. That's the worst thing for me, Theodore. Mike Trout, for the 6th straight year, the best player in baseball, will not be a part of the postseason. That's the worst thing for me.
He's been in the league 10 years, and he's only played in 3 playoff games.
Amazing that the best player, how many MVPs does he have now? 3, 4, something like that?
I think 3, and he's finished runner-up or in the top 3 a couple of times as well.
It's mind-boggling that we have not witnessed him on the biggest stage against the best pitching and the best teams, a chance to perform. So I keep my fingers crossed every year. Yeah. Next year will be Mike Trout. You're winning it all next year. My Angels, go Angels.
All right. If LeBron wins, does that change anything in the big picture of how he's viewed in history?
No. I think his legacy has been set for a while. One thing I am hoping, if the Lakers were to win and LeBron is finals MVP, that's something no one in the history of the game has done. Be able to win 3 championships with 3 different organizations and be finals MVP on those teams. So not Larry Bird, not Kareem, obviously not Michael, not Magic. None of the other greats have been able to achieve that, to lead 3 different teams to 3 different championships and win the finals MVP. That would be kind of cool to see, which would kind of separate him from a little bit, but I think his legacy is already set, Theodore.
He can't get any higher than what he is in Europe. Is he the 2nd greatest player of all time?
I'm going to go with MJ 1, and I'm going to go with Kareem and LeBron mixed in that next level in terms of everything that they've contributed to the game. I put Kobe somewhat in there as well. I say I'm not always looking at championships. Okay. I'm looking at impact. Okay. Impact on the game. So that's why I have MJ number 1. And again, LeBron too, he's in the social media age too, something those other guys didn't have to deal with. That's why LeBron's numbers and his stature is so much bigger, is because he's in the dawn of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and so forth.
How did the Lakers not win this?
It's theirs to lose. It really is. They will always have the 2 best players on the floor in this series. They're well coached. They have championship experience. Obviously, LeBron James, this is his 10th NBA Finals. Don't forget about Danny Green and Rajon Rondo. Both of those guys have won championships. So to me, it's theirs to lose. Having said all that, something is special is going on in Miami. And people ask, who do I have? If I have to make a pick, and this is coming from the heart, this is a lot like when the Lakers played the Detroit Pistons, I believe in early 2000, when no one really gave the Detroit Pistons any chance. I knew Detroit was going to win that series because during that series with us in Detroit, I was begging our guys, Jermaine and Ron and Al Harrington, I was like, do you guys understand? Whoever wins this series between us and the Pistons is going to win the championship. I was like, I wasn't even thinking about Kobe and the Lakers because I knew at that time defense won championship. Detroit was such a together team, and I see a lot of that in the Miami Heat. So I'm picking Miami in 7. The Lakers should win. They're going to be very top heavy to win, odds on favorite to win. But it's just something special all season long, and especially since the restart, that Miami and that culture of Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra. I'm picking the Heat in 7, but I expect the Lakers to win. Is that fair enough to say?
Yeah. I mean, you just picked both teams, but
No, Miami in 7, but the Lakers should win, but Miami in 7.
Okay. But, you said that this doesn't change LeBron's legacy if he wins. If he loses, does it do anything to that?
No, because I think people expected he's going to be a top 5 player no matter what. He is, numbers alone. And we got to think about this. He's been in the NBA 17 years, 17 seasons, and he's been to the finals 10 times. That's amazing. I mean, that is amazing in today's age with a lot more parity. I mean, this is not the 60s Celtics, right? Where there was, 12 teams back then? There's 30 teams now. There's better parity. It's an amazing feat. So if he loses, no, it doesn't change anything. He still is going to be in the top 3, in my opinion.
The third best player on the Lakers is who? Or third most important player?
Who's ever making shots at the current time. I think in that last series versus Denver, it was probably Rondo and his impact off the bench, along with KCP. I thought KCP was fantastic, not only guarding Murray, which he did a great job, but he was making shots. Who should it be? It should be Kuzma, and he's kind of been up and down. I thought Caruso played great. The role players have started to come around and fill the roles a little bit, but they're facing a different team in Miami because if they allow, did you see how many wide open shots that Denver missed between Jeremy Grant, Gary Harris, Torrey Craig? You give those looks to Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Jay Crowder, it's a different story. So their defense has to be much better versus Miami than it was versus Denver.
And I said this earlier, and some people push back on this, but I still believe it. I think Miami is a better all-around team. I think they can go maybe 8 or 9 deep, and you can get contributions. You can sometimes get a career night out of somebody, as we've seen with them. The Lakers got the 2 great players, but, Bam is a force to be reckoned with. Jimmy Butler is great at the end of games. Hero, Duncan Robinson can shoot. Goran Dragic can be, very difficult matchup there. Jay Crowder is a tough guy to have. Spoelstra's been there before. It's a really interesting roster that Pat Riley has built here.
And here's the thing, too. Jimmy Butler has had success going against LeBron James when he was in the Eastern Conference, whether he was with Chicago and understanding when he was with Miami. That dynamic, they've locked horns a lot of times. So he's familiar with playing against LeBron. And they do have a number of people that they can throw at LeBron because that's what you have to do. So you're going to put Jay Crowder on him as well. I think Bam Adebayo will get a lot of time guarding LeBron James too. My only concern with the Heat will be their length and their depth because you've got JaVale McGee, who didn't play a lot last series, Dwight Howard, and Anthony Davis. I mean, that's almost 21 feet of length right there. There's not a lot of bigs on Miami. Rebounding will be paramount, but Tyler Hero rebounds great for his position. So gang rebounding will be key and second chance points. But Miami plays fantastic nose-to-nose defense. I think this is going to be a great series. These are the 2 best teams that have played the best since the restart. It's no surprise. And people's like, there's no Milwaukee. There's no Toronto, the 1-2 seeds. No, the 2 best teams playing the best basketball are in the NBA Finals, and we should appreciate that.
Turner sports analyst, Hall of Famer Reggie Miller joining us on the program. I was looking at, I'm keeping an eye on Mike D'Antoni, where he's going to end up. I think New Orleans would make more sense, but Now there's talk that maybe the 76ers, and if he goes to Philadelphia, would he trade Joel Embiid and try to get James Harden from the Rockets there?
That's an interesting trade. I can see that, but if you trade away arguably the best center in the game, and he kind of fits into D'Antoni's style because he is a big that can shoot threes. I know he's more effective with his back to the basket, but he can face you up and knock down a three. My question is, why would you trade him and maybe not Ben Simmons, who really wouldn't fit into a Mike D'Antoni system because he's not a three-point shooter? So I don't know how he would fit into a D'Antoni system more so than what Joel Embiid.
Well, what could you?
I agree with you. New Orleans seems more like his style. They can get up and run and shoot a bunch of threes. I don't know about Philadelphia.
But what you can get more for Embiid, I'm guessing.
I think you can get a lot for Ben Simmons too.
Yeah, but how does he fit in today's game? I know that he's a good defender. He's a matchup nightmare. But it's, I don't know, like him and Lonzo Ball, like these guys who play point but can't shoot. Like, what's the value there in today's NBA?
Are you talking about Ben Simmons and Lonzo versus?
Well, no, just you could put out Ben. We know about Lonzo, and
right.
His shot is his shot. I don't know if Ben's going to get better either. But how valuable is Ben Simmons in today's NBA?
Well, he's a guy that's at 6'10", can push the ball and puts a lot of pressure in the open court. The problem is, come playoff time, and this is why Houston has always had so much problem. During the regular season, it's a track meet. You don't prepare for them the same way. You get into a series where you're seeing a team 5, 6, 7 times potentially, you take away most of their strengths. And most of those strengths for Houston was in the open court. And it's very difficult for them to play half-court basketball because you're taking away those things. And that would be the problem wherever D'Antoni went. If he's going to do the 7 seconds or less and just jack up a bunch of threes, what is your plan come playoff basketball? That's what I would be asking Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's going to change his coaching philosophy. I mean, he's, upper 60s? He's almost 70 years. I don't think he's changing anything. And is he the right coach for Zion Williamson?
He could be. Look, here's the thing with Mike D'Antoni. He's going to have options. And you could throw Indiana in there as well because they would love to have Mike D'Antoni as well. So he's going to have his pick on where he wants to go. To me, it's all about personnel. I personally think New Orleans would probably fit a little bit better because they have more weapons for him to work with offensively.
Yeah. How about all the Kentucky alum in the finals?
And balling too, right? Jamal Murray, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. I mean,
well, Frank Vogel went to Kentucky. Pat Riley went to Kentucky.
Yeah.
So it's alumni night there. Did Kentucky recruit you?
No. I wasn't on their radar. No. I was lucky to get into UCLA. Again, you and I, we've had this conversation before. They wanted the other Reggies before this Reggie. They wanted Reggie Williams and Reggie Lewis, and they opted to go somewhere else. And I was the last Reggie on their radar, and I was lucky to get in.
Wait, where else were you going if you didn't go to UCLA?
I had it down to 2. I had it down to Cal State Fullerton, and I had it down to Arizona State. Those were my 2 teams. I know, right? And then UCLA came in last minute, and every kid here from the Southland wants to play for UCLA. And when they came in the last minute, I was like, Fullerton, Arizona State, who are you guys? What? This is UCLA recruiting me. Huh? What? Goodbye.
And they pay a whole lot better.
Hey, Sam Gilbert was gone when I came in. He was gone.
What did your sister, what kind of offers did Cheryl get? Now, Cheryl's the number 1 player in high school and probably could have played for some men's teams as well. She was that talented, in my opinion, right?
Yes.
What were they paying or offering under the table for Cheryl to go to a women's program?
They were not paying, but let's just say she was going to be able to drive around campus in style wherever she went. Not that USC, that other school did that. But
what kind of car did Cheryl drive at USC?
my mind is foggy. I can't remember, Theodore.
Your Zoom connection.
Knows?
Yeah, your Zoom
but all I
connection.
know is she used to pick me up when I was a freshman and she was a sophomore, and our rides back to Riverside were in style.
But when you went to her games in high school, what was that like?
They were events. They weren't games, because in Riverside, when Cheryl played in high school, people came from everywhere. They put the men's game, our game, like as the JV games. That's how big they were. They had to move them to bigger arenas because her team and Cheryl, they were like phenomenal. They came from like Riverside and the Palm Springs area and the Big Bear area. People would just flood our gymnasium just to watch her warm up. It was an event. It wasn't a game. It was an event.
I like how you guys were you're the men's varsity basketball team.
And we were good. We were like ranked number 1 or 2, and we were the JV game. Like our game started at 6, and her game started at 8. Right?
One of my favorite stories is when Reg had an unbelievable game. I don't know, you had like 38 in a game, I think, or
like
something.
45.
Okay.
And here I am. I'm going to finally top my sister. I had 45 on the road, coming back, gloating. Yeah, sis. Yeah, what did you do? Oh, nothing. I just had a cool 105. I'm like, Dad. He's just laughing, shaking his head. I'm like, I know y'all playing, right? Like you guys scored 105 as a team. No, son. She had 105. They as a team had 179. 100. First of all, how is that possible in a high school game with 8-minute quarters and no shot clock? No shot clock.
And we have the clip of when Cheryl interviewed Kobe about 10 years ago when she dropped a passion bucket. It sounded like this.
Most unusual but superb game for Kobe Bryant. 17 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds, and he is with Cheryl Miller. Cheryl.
Now, Kobe, if you guys could only bottle tonight's effort and intensity, how much fun will the remainder of this season be?
It'll be a lot of fun. We played with a full passion bucket tonight. We really came out and played with a lot of energy, a lot of hustle.
Kobe had heard it on the show, Passion Bucket, and then all of a sudden he threw that in there when he's interviewed by Cheryl.
Let me just say this, and this is why Cheryl was great for so many years on television, especially at our network at Turner, because the players absolutely knew, this is the greatest women's basketball player of all time, and they respected her so much. She was almost like one of the guys, so they could joke around, and she knew the vernacular because she had been in those wars with them, really created those wars. So they respected Cheryl so much. It was almost like they were talking to one of their teammates, and you kind of got a sense of that from Kobe Bean right there.
Great to talk to you again, as always. We'll be checking in with you. And once again, Reg, with his heart, is picking the Miami Heat to win in 7. Thank you, Reg. All right, buddy.
Appreciate it, Theodore.
See you, buddy. That's Reggie Aloysius Miller, Jr. III.